Welcome dear students and Jai Swaminarayan. So we were already discussed the chapter number 12. We almost completed the chapter number 12 electricity. Now today we will discuss the answer of the question given in the textbook, right? Different questions are given in the textbook for the more understanding about the electricity. So we will discuss here one by one each and every questions and the answer of these questions. So how to write the answer of the different questions we will discuss in this video. Some of the question answer we were already discussed in the previous video, but we revise all the question answer given in the textbook in this video. So dear students, let's start from the first question. So first section of the questions are given in the page number 200 in the textbook. There are 3 questions given in the page number 200 of the textbook. So we will discuss first answer of these 3 questions. Question number 1 is what does an electric circuit means? Question number 2 is define the unit of the current. Question number 3 is calculate the number of electron constituting the 1 coulomb of the charge. So how we can write the answer of these 3 questions we will discuss here. So dear students, question number 1 is what does an electric circuit means? So answer of this question, an electric circuit consists of the electric devices, switching devices, source of electricity, that means batteries, cells, power, right? All the things, they are connected by a conducting wire is called the electric circuit. Electric circuit means a pathway to flow of the electric current is called the electric circuit. So short question is that what does an electric circuit means? So you can write the electric circuit consists of the electrical devices, switching devices, source of the electricity that are connected by a conducting wire, so that electric circuit means it is a pathway to flow of the electric current, right? Question number 2 is define the unit of the current. Dear students, you know that what is the unit of the electric current? Yes, unit of the electric current is a ampere. So how we define the unit of the electric current? So by the formula of the electric current, I is equal to Q divided by T. We know the formula of the electric current. The formula of the electric current is I is equal to Q divided by T. So if we take a charge of the 1 coulomb and time in a 1 second, right, we get the I is equal to 1 ampere. So the electric current, 1 ampere electric current is defined as the flow of the 1 coulomb charge through a conductor in a 1 second. So the dear students, the unit of the electric current is ampere. And what is the 1 ampere electric current? The 1 ampere is defined as the flow of 1 coulomb of the charge through a wire in a 1 second. So when the 1 coulomb of an electric charge passing through any conducting wire in a 1 second, we can say that the electric current passing through the conductor is a 1 ampere. Now question number 3. Calculate the number of electrons constituting a 1 coulomb of the charge. What will be the number of electron in a 1 coulomb of the charge? So that we were already discussed in the previous video, how we can calculate the number of electron in a 1 coulomb charge, right? So 1 electron has a electric charge of the 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, right? You know that 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb of the charge contains a 1 electron. So what will be the number of electrons in the 1 coulomb charge? So you can easily calculate by dividing 1 coulomb charge divided by 1 electron has a charge 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. We get 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electron. Approximately we can say that the number of electron in a 1 coulomb charge is a 6 into 10 raised to 18. You can write this answer also. In a 1 coulomb of the electric charge, the number of electron present in a 1 coulomb electric charge is a 6.25 into 10 raised to 18 electron. So similarly, you can calculate the number of electron present in a 2 coulomb charge. So instead of this 1 coulomb, we place a 2 coulomb. 2 divided by 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19. We get the answer, right? The number of electron present in a 2 coulomb charge. So you can calculate by yourself also. Now dear students, we discuss the questions given in the page number 202. Three questions are given in the page number 202. We discuss the answer of these three questions. Question number 1. Name a device that help to maintain a potential difference across a conductor. So which device is used to maintain a potential difference across a conductor? A source of electricity. We can say that the answer, a source of electricity such as a cell, battery, power supply is used to maintain a potential difference across a conductor. So you can write the answer of this question like this. A source of electricity such as cell, you know that the pencil cell, power cell, right, batteries, power supplies, and helps to maintain a potential difference across a conductor. Question number 2. What is meant by saying that a potential difference between 2 points is 1 volt? So what do you mean by the 1 volt potential difference? Here the question is that what do you mean by the potential difference between 2 points is a 1 volt, right? So answer of this question is, if 1 joule of a work is required to move a charge of the 1 coulomb from one point to the another point, then we can say that the potential difference between these 2 points is a 1 volt. So by the definition of the electric potential, V is equal to W divided by Q, work divided by electric charge. That is the equation of the potential. So from this equation, if we say that W is equal to 1 joule, Q is equal to 1 coulomb, then the electric potential between 2 points is a 1 volt. So from this we can write the definition of the 1 volt like this. If the 1 joule of a work is required to move a charge of a amount 1 coulomb from one point to the another point, then it is said that the potential difference between the points is a 1 volt. Clear? So now question 3. How much energy is given to each coulomb of a charge passing through a battery of a 6 volt? So what energy is given to the 1 coulomb of the charge? Each coulomb charge, that means a charge is given to you, Q is equal to 1 coulomb, right? Provided by a battery of the 6 volt of the battery. So the potential is given to you 6 volt. So here we can say that the charge Q is given to you, right, 1 coulomb, and the potential V is given to you 6 volt of the battery. So the energy given to each coulomb of the charge is equal to the amount of the work required to move it. So by the definition of the potential difference, the potential difference is equal to work done divided by charge. From this, the work done is equal to potential difference into charge. We know that formula. Instead of this, we can write also formula. potential V is equal to W divided by Q. W divided by Q. So W is the amount of the work done, and the amount of the work done, it is equal to energy required, energy given by the with the help of the battery. So here the charge Q is given to you 1 coulomb and the potential V is given to you 6 volt. So energy we can calculate W is equal to V into Q, right? V multiply by Q. V is a 6 volt and Q is a 1 coulomb. We get the energy of a 6 joule. So we can write the answer 6 joule of the energy is given to each coulomb of the charge passing through a battery of the 6 volt. Now we discuss the questions given in the page number 209, right? There are 5 questions are given in the page number 209. So now we discuss the answer of these 5 questions. So dear students, we discuss a question answer of page 209. So question number 1. On what factor does the resistance of a conductor depends? So what are the different factors that the resistance of the conductor depend? So we know that the formula. So dear students, we know that the formula R is equal to rho L divided by A, right? Here R is the resistance of the conductor, rho is the resistivity of the conductor, L is the length of the conductor, and A is the cross section area of the conductor. So from this we can say that the resistance of the conductor depends upon the following factor. First one, the length of the conductor. First, the resistance of the conductor depends on the length of the conductor. Second, depends on the cross section area of the conductor. Third, resistivity. That means the resistance of the conductor depends on the material of the conductor, right? And fourth parameter, temperature of the conductor. So dear students, the resistance of the conductor depends on first length of the conductor, second cross section area of the conductor, third material of the conductor, type of the material. For the different type of the material, right? Copper, aluminium, iron, the resistance is a different, and it depends on the temperature of the conductor. So here extra, as the temperature of the conductor is increased, the resistance of the conductor also increases. Question number 2. Will current flow more easily through a thick wire or a thin wire of the same material when connected to the same source, and why? So dear students, if we take a two wire of the same material, one is a thick wire, another is a thin wire, right, and connected to the same source of the battery, in which wire the current is more and in which wire the current flow through the wire is less, right? So we discuss here, we know that the resistance of a wire R is equal to rho L divided by A, where rho is the resistivity of the material, L is the length of the material, and A is the cross section area of the wire. Rho is the resistivity of the material of the wire, L is the length of the wire, and A is the cross section area of the wire. So from this formula, the resistance of the conductor is inversely proportional to the cross section area. So the resistance is inversely proportional to the cross section area of the wire. So dear students, now thicker wire has a more cross section area and thin wire has a less cross section area. So resistance of the conductor depends on the cross section area. So thick wire has a more cross section area, so it has a lower resistance, and thin wire has a less cross section area, it has a higher resistance. So thicker wire has a lower resistance and thin wire has a higher resistance. So current passing through the conductor depends on the resistance of the conductor. So here we can say that the thick wire has a more cross section area, so it has a resistance less, right? So the current passing through the thick wire is a more, whereas the thin wire, we can consider a thin wire has a less cross section area, it has a more resistance, so the current passing through the thin wire is a less. So we concluded our point. So thicker the wire, lower is the resistance of the wire. So therefore the current can flow more easily through the thicker wire compared to the thin wire. Now dear students, question 3. Let the current let the resistance of an electric component remains constant, right? The resistance of the component remains constant, that means does not change, right? While the potential difference across the two ends of the component decreases to the half of its former value. So previous value, we can say that the previous value, the potential difference across the two ends of the component decreases half to its initial value. What change will occur in the current through it, right? What will be the change in the current as the current passing through the component is changed or not, right? So answer of this question is, you know that according to the Ohm's law, current passing through the component is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the two ends of the conductor. So we know that the formula of the Ohm's law, V is equal to I into R. So here resistance does not change, it remains constant. So V is directly proportional to the I. So as we decrease the potential difference to the half, right, the current passing through the component also decreases to the half, and we can get the answer like this, right? So as we decreases the potential difference V by 2, resistance remains constant, so we derive the current passing through this component is also up. We can write the answer orally. Write this: the potential difference is directly proportional to the electric current passing through the component is directly proportional to the potential difference applied across the two ends of the conductor, right? So as the potential difference is reduces to the half, the current passing through the electric component also half. Now dear students, question number 4. Why are coils of electric toaster and electric irons made up of an alloy rather than a pure metal? So electric toaster, electric iron, electric heater, in this all the component, right, the coils are made up of alloys, not pure metal. Why? Because the answer is, the resistivity of an alloy is higher than the pure metal. As we as we were discussed in the resistivity topic, the resistivity of an alloy is higher than the pure metal. So at the high temperature, the alloys do not melt readily, right? So at the high temperature, at the very high temperature, as the current is passing through the coil, the heat will be produced, heating effect of the electric current, you know that. And as the temperature of the alloys is high, it do not melt readily, easily, right? So the coils of heating appliance such as electric toaster and electric iron are made up of an alloy rather than a pure metal. So the alloys having a high melting point, right? So due to this, the coil of the electric toaster, electric iron, electric heater, all the heating appliances are made up of the alloys. Question number 5. Use the data in the table number 12.2 in a textbook given one table 12.2, that is the electric resistivity of the some substance at a 20 degree Celsius. In the table, the electric resistivity of the conductors silver, copper, aluminum, tungsten, nickel, iron, right, is given to you value. You may not remember the formula of this resistivity. તમારે વેલ્યુ યાદ રાખવાની છે નહીં, right? Then resistivity of the chromium, mercury, manganese, constituent, that is the alloy of Cu and nickel, right, given to you. Some resistivity of the some alloys is also given to you. Manganese, it is a mixture of alloy of Cu, copper, manganese and nickel. Nichrome is a mixture of the nickel, chromium, manganese and iron. And glass, right? So resistivity of the some alloys are given to you. And resistivity of the insulator, right? Hard rubber, ebonite, diamond, paper, resistivity value is given to you. And answer the following question, right? So question number 1 is given that which among the iron and mercury is a better conductor, right? So dear students, as the resistivity of the material is high, it is a bad conductor of the electricity, and as the resistivity of the material is low, it is a good conductor of the electricity. So the resistivity of the iron is table is given 10 into 10 raised to minus power 8 ohm into meter, and the resistivity of mercury is 94 into 10 raised to minus 8 ohm into meter. Which one has a more resistivity? So here dear students, from this table we can conclude that the mercury has a higher resistivity compared to the iron. So resistivity of the mercury is more than that of the iron. So that says that iron has a less resistivity. So the iron is a better conductor than the mercury. The resistivity is low. It is a better conductor of the electricity. So as the resistivity of the iron is low compared to the mercury, so iron is a good conductor compared to the mercury. Question number 2 is which material is the best conductor among the table? So best conductor, that means the smallest resistivity. So in this table you can find that the smallest resistivity is of the silver, right? So from this table we can conclude that the silver is the best conductor of the electricity. So you can write the answer, right? The resistivity of the silver is the lowest among all the material, hence it is the best conductor of electricity. So now dear students, we understand the questions given at the page number 213, right? There are two questions given in the page number 213. So now we will discuss this answer of these questions. Question number 1. Draw a schematic diagram of a circuit consisting of a battery of a 3 cells each of a 2 volt, a resistor, 5 ohm resistor, an 8 ohm resistor and a 12 ohm resistor and a plug key, all connected in a series. So now we required to draw only the circuit diagram which contains the 3 cell of 2 volt. That means the potential of a 2 plus 2 plus 2, that is a 6 volt, right? A 5 ohm resistor, an 8 ohm resistor and a 12 ohm resistor and a plug key, all are connected in a series. So how we draw a series connection of the resistor, right? First one, 5 ohm resistor, R1 is equal to 5 ohm resistor, R2 is equal to 8 ohm resistor and R3 is equal to 12 ohm resistor. All the three resistors are connected in a series with the plug key, that is the symbol of the key, and a 3 cell each of a 2 volt are connected in a series with this combination. So the total potential is a 6 volt. So now in which direction the current is flowing through the circuit? So dear students, remember always the current is flows from the positive terminal of the battery to the negative terminal of the battery. So this is the schematic diagram consisting of the 5 ohm resistor, 8 ohm resistor, 12 ohm resistor, plug key and the 3 cell of each of the 2 volt are connected in a series. Question number 2. Read draw the circuit of the question 1. You have to read this circuit again. Putting in an ammeter to measure the current through a resistors and a voltmeter to measure the potential difference across the 12 ohm resistor. What would be the reading in the ammeter and the voltmeter? So dear students, in the series connection of the resistor, we need to find the electric current passing through the each resistors. So in the series connection of the resistor, right, the electric current passing through each resistor are same, right? So we need to calculate the what amount of the electric current passing through this resistor and potential difference across each resistor. So this question you have to solve by yourself. We already discussed the series in the series connection of the resistor how to find the electric current passing through the circuit and the potential difference across the each resistor. So you have to solve these questions by yourself, right? Calculate the electric current passing through each resistor and potential difference across each resistors. So dear students, more in-text question answer we will discuss in the next lecture, right? So keep watching my video to understand more about the in-text question answer. Thank you very for